Let's, excuse me, let's bring in a quote and see what you make of it. So we'll pop this up on screen. Here's the quote: "No one is safe anywhere until everyone is safe everywhere." Well, what an astonishing statement. There's a bit more to it. The world needs agreement on the pandemic accord. And who came out with this, I'm going to call it utter nonsense, well, the first sentence, but it's our very own Gordon Brown, ex-Prime Minister of UK. So what we need is a video, isn't it? Let's have a look at the video.
COVID claimed 7 million lives and infected 700 million people. And last year, the International Monetary Fund estimated that the costs of the pandemic could go beyond $12.5 trillion. An influenza pandemic could well be worse, particularly as it could strike at the young just as well as the old. And this would deepen the human and the economic impacts. Member states of the World Health Organization are currently negotiating a pandemic treaty and revisions to the international health regulations. Success at this will come if countries are able to agree a wide-ranging and strong deal that creates incentives to cooperate between countries and companies. So the agreements between countries have to come first. We already have an idea of what might be useful. The current strategy to donate influenza vaccines in real time could be extended to all pandemic vaccines and to diagnostics and to medicines such as antivirals. A binding treaty would make it harder, but not impossible, for countries to halt the export of vaccines and medicines during pandemics. Vaccine nationalism is unfortunately impossible to eliminate, but with an international deal and regional production hubs, the dynamics of vaccine supply during a pandemic would improve dramatically. Some outbreaks can be halted, others can be delayed. We don't know when the next outbreak will start. It may even have done so already, so the world urgently needs to have a plan. The potential costs of preparing are tiny in comparison to the scale of these pandemics, and this is the right way of thinking about it. Now the economists get it, so maybe it's time for the politicians to get on board. The world does not know how big or how dangerous the next pandemic is going to be, nor what pathogen will cause it, nor do we know when it will happen, but there is going to be one. So we must act, and we must act together, now.
Well, I could tell from our chat box that people were really enamoured with that appalling video by Gordon Brown, trying to lure us into a false sense of security. But what a statement. We don't know how big or dangerous it is. We don't know the pathogen. We don't know when, but we can tell you it's coming. I would say there's some weaknesses in that particular scientific argument. But if we go back to his Twitter page where this was posted, this is what it looked like. I'm just going to say the good news is if you have a look at the comments that came up underneath it, they were brilliant. The man that sold all the UK gold reserves enabled the mass immigration that's ruined UK. If I ever needed a sign that the WHO Treaty is a bad thing for the UK, it's this statement by Gordon Brown. This one saying bought and paid for. Gordon Brown calls Labour supporter a bigoted woman. The Guardian report some time ago. This one here, Gordon Brown, the man who sold most of the UK's gold at a poor price, drove the economy to the brink and beyond, supported endless wars, and essentially a Blairite. Here we've got no one is safe anywhere until everyone is safe everywhere. How trite, how manipulative, how very wrong. We just popped this last one on. Not a chance the people have woken up. Who is a racket controlled by vested interests, and you are but a bag carrier for them. Gordon, you are better than this. Well, I disagree with the final statement. He clearly isn't better than that. But what UK Column picked up from the video is that Gordon Brown was working alongside this man, Regan Shale, who is a strategic communications consultant at the World Health Organization. And what are his specialist areas? Data-driven strategies to develop effective social media communication campaigns, identifying and combating misinformation and disinformation. That ties in nicely with Mark Anderson's earlier segment. but Gordon Brown fully in bed with this whole pandemic scam. And just a thank you to Lucy, who forwarded this one, pointing out that Dr. Vanessa Kerry has been appointed as the WHO Director General Special Envoy for Climate Change and Health. She can do both, Wonder Woman. And of course, this is John Kerry's daughter. So I'll leave that segment there and leave you to think about that.